Alright everybody, I am back with another camera review here, and this time we are going to talk about the Nikon Z30. And this camera is about, I want to say maybe 2 years old, give or take, and it is basically meant to be a vlogging camera. However, I have shot a few pictures with it as well, and I think the camera quality or the picture quality is just as good. Vlogging quality is really well, or does really well there too. Nikon decided to make a vlogging camera and just break into the scene, and this was the very first camera. So right off the bat, we'll just go ahead and kind of just look at it, observe it. It is not big, but it's not small in my opinion. The ergonomics is good. You can hold on to the camera. What I like is the groove here. You have the groove to hold with your hand. You've got the thumb. Just kind of pick that up here. You have your buttons right here, of course, your typical buttons, your dials. You have your settings right here, of course. So overall, just ergonomically, the camera is nice. I like how it is. It feels good on the hand. It's not overly heavy. It's just right, you know. So also in the front of the camera, you have your two buttons right here. It does come with a 16 millimeter lens to 50 millimeter lens, and that is the basic camera, or I'm sorry, the basic lens kit that it does come with when you order this camera. They do offer bigger lenses, but of course it's going to cost you a little bit more. This camera runs about, now in 2025, you can get it for about $639 on Nikon.com. It has gone down in price. When it first came out, it was about $7.99, I want to say, or was it $8.99? But yeah, so it has gone down in price. So if you want to grab it, now would be the time to grab it as well. You could also find probably some used models for a bit under that. I would say around the $500 range. So, all right, so let's kind of get into just, again, more of the body aspect of the camera. You have, you know, a microphone port here. You have your HDMI cable, and then you have a charging cable. The camera does charge via USB-C. Then of course you have your HDMI right here, mini HDMI, and again your microphone port. The screen does articulate. As you notice, it does not have a viewfinder. It is a electronic viewfinder, and that was meant for your vloggers. So of course it articulates here. You can, you know, move it around to your liking. I personally like it like that, especially if I'm filming myself and I am looking at myself. I can see it perfectly here. Okay. On the other side, of course, it's just, you know, your handle here. The bottom of the camera, it does come with your battery and your memory card. Of course, it takes your basic micro SD here, or your regular SD. I forgot to mention that you do have your speakers here, so you have your left and your right, and I will demonstrate that as well. The camera volume is pretty good, honestly. I feel, again, they kind of nailed it for the vlogging community. You have your hot shoe right here if you want to include a flash. The camera does not have a flash, so anything in low light, you're going to need extra lighting for this camera. So again, I would recommend, if you're filming, either have some lighting if it's dark, or if you're doing daylight, then it would be perfectly fine without your lighting. So, but let's get into all of the buttons and the features of this camera. All right, so let's go ahead and turn the camera on here. So here is your on and off switch right there. You just put it on. It's going to tell you to, before taking photos, rotate the zoom ring to extend the lens. So you would just simply just do it like that. And as you can see, here is the front of the camera. You have all of your displays here. Of course, it looks like a lot. It can be overwhelming, but if you want to change up your display, you can just hit this button right there, and it's going to clear out a lot of things for you. It just really depends what you want. So you have different display modes, and again, I have it in video mode right now because you do have a switch here where you can choose it to have it in video mode, or you could have it in camera mode. So let's actually go to the camera mode and let's change up our display because I don't like a bunch of that stuff on the screen there. So again, here is your screen for the camera mode. It is touchscreen too, which is what I like. You could actually take pictures by hitting the screen. So nice feature if you do like that. If you want to take just something real fast, you can do that. It's not for everybody because again, if you accidentally take a picture or you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't want to do that, then it can become annoying. But it does have that feature. Again, the camera is very much a touchscreen camera. You have your burst mode here, or your release mode. So again, you would just hit that there. Alright, so I had to just change the angle here so y'all can kind of really see the screen up close. So once again, you have your release modes here. You can choose your timer. You have single, you have burst mode, and then you have well, you have low burst mode and you have your high burst mode here. So again, you just kind of use this by choosing what you want, and basically you can kind of pick which one. Well, it's a continuous, so if you want that, you can have continuous H, continuous low. You have your timer, so if you want to do different timer modes, you can have 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, and even I believe that is 30 seconds. Oh no, I'm sorry, 20 seconds. So let's get that real close. It's kind of, there you go. There you go. That's better for y'all. But yeah, so this is where you choose all of your modes here for your burst modes and your self timer. So that's where that is there. So again, you would just choose this. This is going to be where you would choose it. You use the dial here. There's a front dial right there. And if you want to choose your mode, that's when you actually use the front dial. So you have 3 frames per second, 4 frames. So this is where you would go to choose that. And if you want to go to the next one, we go to the next one. Self timer mode, again, you just kind of start picking what you want there. So that's your first option. Again, you have your delete button right here, so when you're viewing your pictures you can delete that, or pick your picture to delete. You have your autofocus lock mode here. You have your information mode here, so this is very helpful where you can just kind of pick what you want. So it says set picture control, image quality, normal, that's where you can choose if you want normal, basic, raw plus JPEG, raw, fine, JPEG fine. I just kind of pick it on normal JPEG because that's just kind of what I like to use. Your flash mode, again, there's no flash, but if you wanted to have a flash on it, that's where you would pick that. You have your Wi-Fi connection here. And again, just other areas: autofocus, area mode, white balance, image size, metering, your D-lighting, vibration reduction, autofocus, I'm sorry, focus mode here. So you can do autofocus, single autofocus, continuous autofocus, and then manual focus, which I actually like to have continuous here. So again, you can go back to that, just hit that there, and that's your OK button. So, and then really this won't do anything. This is just your dial here. You can magnify, which is kind of cool. I like that. So again, you could just magnify something, or you can zoom out. That's your zoom. Again, your play button. So there's like, just want to look at the images. Pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory. And your menu, which we will kind of briefly go over that, because again, I don't really go over everything on the camera because it can be a lot, but this is where you would go to find what you're looking for. You have your playback menu. Again, playback folder, you just kind of go and pick what you're looking for there. Your photo shooting menu, again, storage photo, file naming, choose image area. So this is where you could go here to pick your specs of what you want. And again, some of it will be shaded out and some of it will be bolded because I have this in auto mode. But if you start picking, say for example, shutter mode, then stuff will become more available, because it just depends on what you have, what kind of mode you have basically. So I'm just going to put it back on auto mode because we'll go into the dials more. Again, so focus shift shooting, so silent photography. So you just have a few options. This is your video recording menu. File naming, frame size, frame rate, you can kind of pick there. This is where you want to go to choose the different frame rates that you may want to choose. I keep it pretty much as the 60 frame per second, the 1920 by 1080. The camera does have slow motion, which is awesome, and I can give you a demonstration of that. But again, it goes all the way to 380 40 by 2160, and you have your 30 frames per second, or 30p, 25p. So again, I just kind of keep it basic there. Video quality, again, I just kind of keep it at high. Video file type, movie. So if you want to go and just kind of mess with some of this stuff there, you can. Custom menu, so if you want to customize your menu, you can, and this is where you could do it. I generally don't mess with any of this because I don't know a lot about it, but for those who are just absolute professionals and know everything there is to know, you could go in here and choose what you want to do. You have your settings, your setup menu. This is where you go to format the card, save user, reset the user settings, language, time zone, monitor brightness, which that might actually be better for us. So I'm going to actually do that right now. There you go. That's actually a lot better. So you can see the screen a lot better because it was brighter, but now, you know, I dimmed it. So there you go. Raw processing, retouch menu does have a retouch menu. You can trim, you can resize, red eye correction, straighten. So you can pick monochrome, black and white, sepia, cyanotype. So my menu, again, it's a little bit more of customization. Again, just gonna add stuff here, whatever you like, a quick menu. I don't really mess with a lot of this stuff anyways. So that's really your menu in a nutshell. See, did I forget anything on the front? No. Then your display menu, and then your video menu is pretty much the same. As you can see here on the video menu, it's telling you what the left and right speaker is picking up, which is nice because you can kind of see what, you know, if the volume's picking up, how loud is it. So I like that, of course. And again, you can fix your display here just based on what you want. So of course you have your dials here. So you have your auto shots, or even in videos. You have your program mode. You have your shutter mode where you can pick the shutter speed. Your aperture mode to pick your aperture. Manual mode for, again, you professionals out there who know exactly what it is you're doing. There it is. And then you have your U3, U2. So these are just different profiles. So the U2, U3, again, it's kind of like where you go and pick you customize it. So this is more of your customized mode as well. So I don't mess with any of these, but these are really the main. I do auto, shutter, and aperture. I barely do manual, although I do need to start dabbling more into that because that's the only way I'm going to learn. But I usually just mess with the shutter and the aperture from time to time. Let's see. Again, this is your record button. So quick and easy, bam, you just start recording, which now this is one thing I will say. In photo mode, if you hit record, it's not going to do anything. So when you are wanting to film, that's the only kind of bad thing I see, because there's been times where I'm like, I want to film something real fast, and then I hit it, and then I realize I'm not in the video mode, so then I got to go back and switch it. So you have to have it in video mode in order to start recording. And then as you can see, it starts recording. So yeah. And then you just turn it back on there, or turn it back off. But yeah, so one thing to note there, when it's in camera mode, it will not record. So keep that in mind. Again, your ISO button is right there. And I believe the ISO goes up to 52,000. So let's actually put it in a shutter mode. And then I believe you can go ahead and pick your ISO. See, there's like 5120 right there. So let's see. Well, actually I have it in auto ISO. Yeah, it's in auto ISO. I'm sorry, this button just kind of tells you what the where it is, but then if you hold it down, and I believe, oh nope, it's the front dial. I forgot. So you hold the ISO button down, get the front dial, and that's where you can start changing your ISO basically. So if you want it at 1,000, you can change it there. Bam. So yeah, that is where the ISO button is. Again, this is where you would change it. Now next to it here is your white balance mode. Again, press the button and it's going to be the front dial. So as you can see, it's getting lighter or it's getting darker, and that's where you can change your white balance. So generally that's only on these modes. So again, if you were to have this on auto mode, I don't think it lets you change. Oh, it actually does. Oh, never mind, I lied. Yeah. So that was your white balance, and again, that's for all modes. So if you have, even if you have it on auto, you can still mess with your white balance. So yeah, so pretty neat there. I just kind of keep it, you know, close to 0 or at 0 basically, because that's just kind of how I like it. But if you want to go and mess with it, you can. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, you have your front of the camera, but all of your buttons really are here. So your dial, your 2 front dials, your back dial, front dial, ISO button, white balance, record, shutter, and of course your menu buttons and your play buttons and all that. So yeah, so now we'll go into a few just how it auto focuses on camera mode, and also just a few shots of the pictures that it takes. And yeah, you guys can actually see it in action. So just filming all these birds and the squirrel right there. This is what it looks like. Hi, Kiwi. Hi. Alright, so also you can choose autofocus or you can choose animals, which that's what I'm gonna do. So it's now capturing my okay, girl.